City Commission meeting to order Tuesday, August 4th. If you would please rise for the invocation by Darrell and followed by the pledge. Thank you, Darrell. Now time to sing with God. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for tonight that we can gather here to not only be about the city business, but be about the Father's business. I pray that you would lead this meeting with integrity and respect. Lord, let this board govern with integrity. Let them govern with the interest of the people in mind. Lord, I pray for a spirit of unity in this place for the citizens and the staff. Lord, I pray that we would be mindful of the sacrifice that the elected officials make to serve this community. Let us also meet them with the same honor and respect that we expect. Lord, have your way in this meeting tonight. Continue to bless this city. Help us to continue to grow while take care of those that have come before us and establish us in the process. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Please join in pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Roll call, Madam City Clerk.
Commissioner Harrison. Here. Commissioner Marsati. Here. Commissioner Devine.
Here.
Commissioner McDonald. Here. Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Mayor Hatch.
Here.
City Manager Ayala. Here. Assistant Attorney Crawford.
Present. First on the agenda is the minutes of our last meeting on July 21st. What's your pleasure, Commissioners?
Second.
I heard two motions and 1 second.
Donald.
Coach Smith, and let's put Commissioner McDonald. Are there any corrections or additions, Commissioner? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? We pass. Before we get into any business, I have 2 proclamations to read. And we're recognizing one of our interns, Mary Lou Lopez. You don't have to get up, you can sit right there a second, okay? Whereas Mary Lou is a proud graduate of Mulberry High School class of 2026 and has demonstrated a commitment to her education, personal growth, and community. Whereas during the summer of 2026, she served as a summer intern with the City of Mulberry, dedicating her time and efforts to gain valuable professional experience while supporting the work and daily operations of the city. And whereas throughout her internship, she approached her responsibilities with enthusiasm, professionalism, dependability, and a willingness to learn, making her a valued member of the City of Mulberry team. Whereas Mary Lou's participation in the city's summer internship program provided her with firsthand experience in municipal government and public service while allowing city staff to share their knowledge and encourage the next generation of community leaders. Whereas Mary Lou will continue her educational journey at Polk State College, where she will pursue a degree in nursing and prepare for a career dedicated to caring for and serving others. And whereas the City Commission, administration, and employees of the City of Mulberry commend her for her accomplishments, thank her for her service to the city, and wish her continued success in her academic and professional endeavors. Now therefore, I, George H. Hatch, Mayor of the City of Mulberry, together with the members of the Mulberry Commission, do hereby commend Mary Lou Teodoro Lopez for her dedicated service and valuable contributions to the City of Mulberry during her 2026 summer internship. So thank you. Now you can come up here. There you go. She declines to speak. I have one more for June Honifer. Is June here? Yeah, okay. And I assume this, the reading is gonna be similar. Let's see. June Honifer, whereas, is a student at Mulberry High School and will begin her senior year during the 2026-2027 academic year. And whereas during the summer of 2026, June served as a summer intern with the city of Mulberry, dedicating her time and efforts to gaining valuable professional experience while assisting with the work and daily operations of the city. And whereas throughout her internship, June demonstrated professionalism, dependability, initiative, and a willingness to learn, making her a valued member of the City of Mulberry team. Whereas June's participation in the city's summer internship provided her with firsthand experience in municipal government and public service, while allowing city staff to support and encourage a local student as she prepares for the next stage of her education. And whereas during her senior year, June will continue her academic studies, participate in the college application process, and explore opportunities that will help shape her educational and professional future. And whereas the City Commission administration employees of the City of Mulberry commend June for her efforts, thank her for her service to the city, and wish her success throughout her senior year and in all of her future endeavors. Now, therefore, I, George H. Hatch, Mayor of the City of Mulberry Park, together with members of the Mulberry City Commission, do hereby recognize and commend June Honifer for her dedicated service and valuable contributions to the City of Mulberry during her 2026 summer internship. So thank you, June. Come on down.
Can you take one step this way and sit next to her? Great. Congratulations.
Thank you, young ladies, for all you did for us during the summer. I know you were a big help. Down here, just full heart, there's people at doors trying to get in, and the door sticks. All right, we're going to the library department report.
Laura Colton, Library Director. And just also want to plug in that June is one of our valuable Monday volunteers. So you will still get to see her every Monday at the library. So this is the report from July. So for July, we had 3,259 visitors, and we circulated 9,145 physical items. We had 500 children come to the library over the summer to do the Jurassic Polk. That does not include the adults that drove them there, but 500 children that participated at our library with the Jurassic Polk. Just a side note, we have the cultural passes to the Children's Museum. Orlando Health did renew that grant. So we had, for July, 19 adults check out cultural passes to take their families, because it includes the adult plus 4 members of their family. So if you think about that, that's 19 families, it's about $100 to take a family of 5, so that's a savings of $1,900 to our Mulberry residents. For our adult programs, we did an adult summer challenge for our adults, where they checked out 12 items from our location when they were entered in a raffle. We had 59 raffle entries for this summer for our adult reading challenge. And just some pictures of our summer programs. Remember that we highlighted America's 250th, so we had square dancing, Katie Adams, and the dinosaurs tied back to the Jurassic Polk. We also had Missing Piece Theater. They did a special story time to promote Finding Nemo. Our teen programs, our elementary programs, and also going back to the Thursday programs, I want to give a shout out to our friends of the library. They sponsor all our Thursday programs. Pictures of our bilingual story time. So thank you to Sarah and to our parent volunteer, Sarah, for stepping in and doing our bilingual story time in July. And then our preschool story time. So, the previous years we kept track of minutes and we included adults, but this year we only included children because the adults, as I mentioned, had their separate reading challenge. And so for the America's 250th, we had set a goal of them hoping to read 250,000 minutes because we didn't know what their reading minutes would be if we took out the adults. So they surpassed it, and so our children read 300,090 minutes for the summer. So we did surpass it. So when they turn in their bookmarks, the Friends of the Library sponsors the book fair. Not to be confused with the book bazaar, but this is the book fair where the kids come and spend their Mulberry bucks. So as a visual, this was yesterday's of what they spend on. So they, yesterday, day one, they spent 736 Mulberry bucks. Last year total for the whole week, we had 239 children come through, and they spent $1,259. So just on our first day, we had 101 children come through, and they spent $736. So we surpassed it, but this is all that we spent in all the books, and you see that overflowing. We had to put books on the floor because we couldn't fit it all on the tables, but that is the summer. And just a few highlights for August. We have 2 special guests for story time. Tomorrow, Baycare is coming to talk about taking care of what you can expect at a health visit. So that is tomorrow. And then the last 3 Wednesdays of the month, we are having Swan City Improv come and do an all-ages story time during that to kind of add some elements of improv. One of the improv members, she is a regular. She brings her sons to the library. Not almost weekly, but we see her a lot, so they are going to come and do story time for us in August. So that is great.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Come on down, Phil.
Good evening, Commission and guests and everyone out there streaming. Chelsea Young, Director of Culture and Programming for the city. So we had a ton of summer programming that was occurring at all of the facilities throughout the month. Edible Science happened at the museum, where it's exactly what it sounds like. You get to learn about science and eat the results, which is always fun. We ended up the summer with root beer floats, which was pretty awesome. Popped in for that one, I'll be honest. Smoothie Saturdays was new this summer, where we talked about what you should look for in produce and how to incorporate it into your diet while also having smoothies and recipes that you can take home, so samples and recipes. Cogs and Chaos was new this year as well. I love chaos, where we invited young learners to come in and try some engineering challenges that were timed and compete against each other. Also, we had our summer Can You Dig It hour, so on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 10 until 11. If you found a shark tooth in the dig pile, you got a prize, and the prize changed every week, so why not come as many times as you would like? And we had a lot of fun seeing new faces and return faces for that. And of course, everyone's favorite week of the year is not Discovery Channel Shark Week, but the Mulberry Philosophy Museum Shark Week comes ashore. And I wanted to give a shout out to our Public Works Department, who made new shark fins for our lawn this year. So thank you to them for working on it. We had Craft Afternoon at the museum, which is where you made crafts that go along with all of your shark fantastic fun. And of course, our annual shark tooth digging contest. We did get new rock just before this, so it's always really exciting. It was a great day, not too hot. There was some breeze. We could come out, and for an hour, who found the most shark teeth won. And together, we found 2,216 teeth in 1 hour. So that is naturally occurring. We do not seed that. That is just how cool Bone Valley is, and we love to tell that story. So thank you to all of our friends who came to that. And we have the Florida Aquarium present the Great Shark Challenge. This was a trivia edition for all ages, but mostly for our young families to come and learn what they knew about sharks. This is a special program. They don't offer it to everyone, but we're just that cool that they will for us. So it was a blast to have them again, and we can't wait to have them next year. The Cultural Center doesn't want to miss out on the fun, so we did our Jaws paint-along for kids. And instead of course, the woman up top, it's a goldfish that the shark is attacking. And they had a blast with that. I love bringing back charcuterie boards, so you can see that the cheese ball is in the form of a shark, and our adults got a chance to get creative and make your Shark Week viewing meats and cheese boards with us. And starting in August, so it's already started, every day that you come to the museum, which of course is free to attend, you can be entered to win a juvenile megalodon tooth. And I will say that Pastor Greg from First Baptist is in it to win it. He comes all the time, so if you see him, he didn't win last time, so maybe he'll have a chance this time. We want as many entries as possible. Summer swatches at the Cultural Center focus on summer-themed art projects. Our Cultivating Creations was new this year, so being inspired by nature, not only as your inspiration to create, but also what to create with. So plants, natural dyes, different fibers, it was a blast. And of course, our workshops that ended, we had a 6-week watercolor workshop with Jillian that was sold out every week. We had a really good time with that and learned lots. A new exhibit that opened, I was very excited by this. It did happen on my birthday, but that's not why we did it. That otherworldly focus on surrealism, science fiction, fantasy, which will tie into another activity in a minute. We had, close to 100 entries, got it down to 50. It's a really good show. If you haven't seen it already, come by and see it Tuesday through Saturday, 9 to 5 at the Cultural Center. Our next exhibit that will open September 3rd, I have to brag about this because I'm honored and humbled that he wants to work with us, but Chris Wasco is an internationally known artist who has recently located to Polk County and has been coming to our shows and chose us to do his one-man solo show that he wanted to work with us. We had other opportunities. It is very cool. So these are large abstract pieces inspired by scenes around Polk County. There's Bonnet Springs Park, there is the Lakeland Library, but he's also created one, which this is it, the Mulberry Cultural Center, inspired by our logo. He's been wonderful. We look forward to opening that September 3rd. So if you're looking for office pieces and you love Polk County, this would be a really good show for you. Come and check us out. As I mentioned about fantasy, partnering with Studio 37, the museum, the Cultural Center, the library, the gym theater, and Depot 303, we're going to have a drop-by station night where we're inspired by fantasy. Laura and Catherine and I were talking that August is a reset month and looking just a way to tie it all together with some fun. At the library, fantasy books are items to check out. We have Otherworldly at the Cultural Center. Tradesfield Whimsical, thank you, Q, on that. So we're going to do a night where each institution is highlighted with a different activity. This is for all ages. You can drop by Thursday, August 20th, 3:30 to 6, which will lead into trivia, which, as we all know, is one of our favorite nights. So you can learn about what we have going on in the city, but also have some fun exploring the world of fantasy, and free. At the gym theater this last month, we did $2 Tuesdays, continue. So for $2, you got to see a family movie. We had SpongeBob and Bad Guys 2. And then on Friday nights, we had America at the Movies for $5. So we started with Hamilton, Apollo 13, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, and Rocky IV. Classics. Right, well, the one where America wins. That's why. And Finding Nemo Jr. has taken the stage. It is a sold-out show last weekend. It's first weekend, so if you haven't got your tickets for this weekend, get them now. Don't let this opportunity swim away. I got these all day. But it's a really cute show. This is perfect if you have little ones. It's about an hour runtime, so if you want to introduce young theater enthusiasts to theater, this is a good opportunity for that. And we have the new Polk Arts and Cultural Alliance Guide has been released, and the gym theater is a featured article in it. This will be available all year. Wonderful partnership that we have with them. We were selected, we didn't ask, they just like what we have going on. So please grab your copy and get showing people all of the gym theater does. Also, the Cultural Center is highlighted right next to it with an upcoming show. The museum is in it, as well as the Cultural Center and the listings. And the gym theater was also featured on Babies 9 this last month on what we have going on and how we're being discovered by new audiences like Rory Lawrence, who is a high school graduate, but bringing his Tampa shows now to us. And the pool season is wrapped. We closed that August 1st. It didn't sink, I don't think so, but that would be good. I'll keep it on my list for next year. We had a 41% increase in guests compared to last year with 2,911 the 2 months that we were open. And last Friday we had our monthly Mulberry Jams. For those who don't know, that's our concert in the park in front of the gym theater between Depot and the gym. We had a great band, we had a good time. We didn't know how summer was going to go because it gets really hot, but it's been a blast all summer long. So our next one will be August 28th, I think. Mike Monstiocco will be doing a solo act, and we look forward to welcoming him. And I think that's it for me, unless you have any questions. All right, thank you so much, and have a great August.
Thank you, Chelsea. And then we're going to our city clerk's annual report.
Jamie said I have to come down here. Okay, Board Commission. So this is just an annual report, just a little summary of it. We have the full book there that you can look at, go over all the details, but I'm just going to highlight a few things. Records management continues to be a large function of our office, and in the past year, in 2025, we disposed of over 30 boxes of records, digitized over 11 boxes, and we have organized and indexed over 15 books and boxes of documents. We are down to 30 more boxes to go, and so it's been a labor of love the past few years. We're down to 30 boxes to go, and we should be caught up. Public records requests, we actually went down from last year. So this past year we were at 77, the year before, I'm sorry, no, we were not this year. 126 from 77. And this year, I think we are already at 126 right now. So we will far exceed those numbers next year. And 2025, we held 53 public meetings, totaling approximately 55 hours. And that was a collaborative effort between the city clerk's office, myself and Sandra, development services, and code enforcement. This is an action report, and formal action was taken on over 75 agenda items, specifically 11 ordinances, 27 resolutions, 19 agreements and contracts, and 30 miscellaneous items. There's a list of all the ordinances and resolutions that were adopted in 2025. And to go along with those, we published 19 legal ads and 29 public notices, and we codified 7 ordinances into the city's official code. We did a voting campaign last year to try to increase awareness to vote and awareness of our elections, and we did have a 4.3% increase from the last election in 2020, so it's not as high as we would have liked, but we will consider it to be progress and going higher, hopefully. Lien searches, this is something that we are continuing to have more and more of this year. Again, we're already far exceeding. We did go down in 2025 from 24, but again, this year we have already surpassed 2024 numbers this year. Business tax receipts, something just so you know, we are in that season right now. We're having some opportunities with it, so if there's anyone that's concerned about business tax receipt communications, we are working on that, and we just request a lot of grace and patience as we do. But Acela has really helped us in our renewal numbers, as you can see there. We have gone up quite a bit, and we are trying to continue doing that, trying to make sure that all businesses within the city of Mulberry do have their business tax receipts and all. But yeah, this year, having some opportunities, but hopefully it'll get better. And there's just a list of some of our goals going into 2026, which you can take your time to read on in the book I gave you. Any questions?
So when you purge the records, you purge them after the statute of limitations requires us to hold it back?
After the appropriate general schedule, what they fall under. Most of our records fall under the GS1, but there's some of them that look for the library and water, wastewater, and some different things like that. But yes, sir, that's what we have to look at, and that tells us when we can dispose, when we can, then we have to send in a report to the state.
When we dispose of them?
But at the end of the year,
Okay.
everything has to be disposed of.
Thank you. Ms. Julie, come on down.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Julie, you have the concerned citizens of Mulberry and surrounding areas, Inc., Post Office Box 134. To our mayor and to all our commissioners, our city manager, city clerk, and to our efficient city attorney. The podium looks great, everybody is here, I just got to tell. Real good.
Got your own clock out?
As all. Now, before I give my report, I would just like to say congratulations again to those young ladies with an internship. Come on, let's hear it again for them. Let's clap, let's clap. Thank you, you did a great job. And I know you're going to do great things as you make your careers. Now, I believe the report, is coming up in a few minutes, but I must say this, it's August. What does that mean?
Back to school.
Yeah, back to school, and the year is going what? Going down, going fast. But anyway, let's get with the report. We always like to start with our city, and today is August 4th, 2026. To our hard-working city manager and her team of commissioners, they're doing a very good job on helping to keep our city on track and operating in a positive way with dignity and in order. So we appreciate our city manager and our city commissioners working there. Come on, we all work hard. We love our city, we love our community. It takes everybody working together as a team. And you know, I can't forget those department heads out there. Y'all know who you are out there. And I must say about them, City Hall would not be City Hall without them. We even got a retiring has come back tonight. Mr. Rose, give him a round of applause. He's back with us. He's so did a great job before he retired. And so that's what it's all about, doing great things for our city. We know Mulberry is a great city. So all our department heads, Ms. Chelsea, everybody, Mulberry, again, we missed it. The rain came, we thought we were gonna get rain now, but what happened? It blew over, and we had a what? A great time. We at the gym. Everybody, as I say, work together. The city, utility crew, public works, code enforcement, city hall staff, the ladies up there, our attorney, the best of the best. Everybody works so hard, finance, I know I just got to call your name, but I try not to. But everybody works so hard for Mulberry that we must say these things to you. Not just, so I'm not just saying that now, I'm saying I really mean it from my heart, because we do work together. Everybody works here for the good of our community and our city. Now, let's get back to what the Commissioner just said. Did I hear somebody say school bells are ringing? Commissioner, come on.
Teachers came back today.
All right, so that means school is getting ready to do what? Start next week. What kind of school system is getting ready? Some of the other counties are maybe already are getting ready as well. But I would like to say this, Mulberry always come through. Our boys and girls would not go back to school what? Empty hand, they gonna have the uniforms, they're gonna have backpacks full of all of the goodies. And we like to say thanks to all the citizens out there, business partners, the Mulberry Community Service Center, that's here from gentlemen, Mr. Bobby, and we like to thank all the business partners such as Walmart, Stuff the Truck Committee, we were out there, getting donations, Walmart always come through. We appreciate them letting us come out there to listen. And the citizens are, they just donated. The ones that didn't want to take Bliss and Shaw, can I give y'all some money? They said, yeah. They put those $20 bills and $10 in the bucket. And so that helped a whole lot. So our children will not go to school without being prepared and ready to what? To learn. we have to thank our schools, our teachers, our principals, everybody that's young, all those, hard-working school teachers, personnel, and the new principal that's here for him. He was in the dash. And he introduced himself, to me as well, and also he's willing to work with them in charging in all the schools, everybody, so let's work with him. He seems to be a nice, gentleman. And of course, also, person, as you know, it's been a long, long time, even when my kids were little, that driveway is finally gonna be what? Y'all saw it happen, the driveway. The kids don't have to get frustrated, they don't have to get sweat, anything. It's gonna be a new entrance coming around from the what side of that, that's the north side.
Big street, yeah.
Yeah, coming around. Rather than getting all congested and crammed in where it used to be, so they can breathe and you know, they can get in and out. So let's think of the Richardson, she brought that project, and then one hand got this along with us, and she's going to another school, but Ms. Reyes did a great job. So we'd like to thank, herself. Now, another new school is in Ascension. So we started up, that is in Hill Academy. They're all bright and shiny down there, went down there, they checking things out. So, they're ready to get started as well. So we got all these schools now, there's no sense of the kids not learning. And guess what? Sewing is going to be starting back up. All of my volunteers out there, we get letters. Here it is, sewing, going to be starting back up again. This year, we've been our third year, so we got to clap for that. You know why? Because the kids come on, the kids allow us, hey, come on, kids. You allow us to have that, use the, Studio 37 to house our after-school tutoring program. This is free, parents don't have to pay. Come on, we have qualified teachers, these are retirees, the best of the best. Then the art teachers, they have commission is why they the art teachers, that's platform, they do good work. I need to stop putting this cancer care away. Everybody does a great job, with our sort of program, volunteers, empty out there, everything. And it would not be a program without our citizens, our business partners, so go there. You know, the teachers don't get paid, everything is, volunteer, and we get donations, taking donations to help us care for the program. All right, so I think that's about it for the schools. Oh, one more thing about schools. Our schools are good, and excellent schools. Purcell, Willow has a B rating. Let's give a clap for that. And Mulberry High School is young. I think they are B school. The other schools gonna come up, we know that. All right, so much for our schools. Let's move on down to community safety. Officer Cortez out there, Cortez standing up, my friend. The school safe, keep the city, y'all, you get a clap for that. He's getting ready to get his deputy already, I know he done gave him their assignment, getting ready to do what they do best, keep our schools safe, our community safe. And so we appreciate them so much, they work so hard sometimes. So it's hard for them because they're out there in the heat, but they're doing their job, but they love the community, they love the citizens, and they want to keep everybody safe. So we appreciate them so much for that. And one more thing, I know he knows what I'm talking about. And if you run the school zone, is the teachers double this year, officer?
Always do.
Always double. Okay, so you don't want that. You know, and it's none of our citizens doing it. We drive safe here, but it's no one coming out of town. Below this thing. So let's remember all of that. Keep our kids safe. Our crossing guards are out there. Doing their very best to keep things safe. All right, now let's move on down. City and community events, accountants, past and present. Our hearts always go out to our bereaved families. I said families, but happy birthdays to Georgia, or anybody born in August. So happy birthday to you. The American Legion, you always come through, we love you so much. And they are, correct me if I'm wrong, if they wrong, Commissioner. The American Legion, we all have the advanced school. Is that the
Farmers market?
Yeah, you right, man? Farmers market.
It's the
All right, the farmers market, I wanna make sure that you go to that one, that's on Sunday, right?
Yes, ma'am. That's Sunday of every month.
Okay, all right, you probably wanna talk more about it, I'm gonna steal this something, all right? But anyway, so let's go to that. All right, I'm trying to keep my notes down here. I think I just about got everything. Oh, one more thing. Now, this is my friend, and I kind of talked about it before, but this is just Anita, right here. She teach you coach, Commissioner?
Who? Oh, Miss McCullough.
Yeah, Miss
No,
McCullough.
she didn't teach me, but she taught at Mandela when I went to school there
Let's give her another hand, cause I know her.
in the 80s.
Yeah. She doesn't have kids, I know that she won't be with her, but she put in her time, and so she's a sweet lady. I just had to say it one more time. I didn't have a teacher last time, but she worked diligently. And one school 53 years, do that's do something. I'm gonna say it one more time. All right, now, I think I'm just at the end of my report, but I'm gonna say one more thing. Oh, the signs are up. Now, we know we got to clap for that. Come on. Yeah.
I get my hands out for that. I'll be really loud.
The signs are up, they're looking good. All the ones who, able to put them up, we hope that the booths and make better for the food hall there. The girls basketball, baseball team, let's give a round of applause. Okay, they did work. They all played their number, they did real well. All right, the Edwards Park is up and running, and we thank the city again for the new sign. All right, I think I just about to say everything I need to say. Are there any questions for the new sign?
I do have a comment though, Ms. Taylor.
Okay.
You said you get carried away. I don't think that you get carried away, and everyone in this room will probably agree, and you're probably going to spank me later. It's your positive energy, and that's contagious in your presence.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Ms. Newell.
All right, this is not a program that's like, communities, citizens, and first responders. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kept drumming, I know.
Commissioner Barsatis, that's next for you.
I guess so. PRWC meeting was July 29th. They did cover a couple of issues that have been pressing. They're going to be transitioning to a fully contracted government workforce in the next 8 years. Basically, that means we've been going from 3 contracted employees, they'll be going to 8, December 8. We're gonna see how that transition takes place and what the difference is going to be. It's something that I think we all need to follow a little carefully. The other part is, one of the southeast wells is now at 60%, so they'll start pulling water from there about 29. And then it gives a chance to see if that, taking the brackish water and cleaning it is actually going to work. We all hope that it does, of course, being here in Florida. But there's still a question mark there. The other part, I think we all started hearing noises on it, is Eric D. Haven, the executive director, has submitted his resignation. He'll be gone at the end of the year. So they're starting to look for his replacement.
And what was his title?
Executive
He's
director.
executive director.
He's the one who has shepherded it through to this point where we're starting to see what's going to happen down the road. I have a meeting with him based on some of the other previous conversations here. I do have a meeting with him set up soon, so if you have any particular questions you'd like me to try to get answers on, just let me know.
I've got one. Why did he resign? That's a very good question. Do what?
Ask Eric that.
Well, you're meeting with him, you are a
Well, I
PRWC
can ask him when I
voice.
meet with them, but, that's one of the question marks I think we all had, so we will find out. That's basically it. Everything else was due to, land that has been taken, some that was given back. Changes in figures going up and down. So,
Thank you, Commissioner Basari, for all the work you do with them. So it's a time investment. Then first on the agenda on the business section is the Legacy by the Lake Resort. I assume somebody from there is going to come up and speak to us.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rudy. Together with my other fellow hand, Tanya, we are the owners of Legacy Lake RV Resort. We bought the property in 2024, and we got 30 days to do our due diligence. We met with Ron Borchers. He was the planning and developer for the house at that time. And he gave us a bunch of letters and things about what we can do with the resort and what the city of Mulberry would help us with. One of them is that we would become part of the city of Mulberry, which I want to make sure that we hook up to the sewer system, that would be zoned for an RV park, and that the impact fees would be in a 1 to 8 ratio.
Say that again? The impact what?
The impact fees are 1 to 8 ratio.
1 to 8.
Yeah, and he gave us a letter. So this is what the city can help with. Rick Johnson was aware of this also accomplished with the letters. I met with Rick Johnson several times, and met with John Wright, the utility director. I guess he still works for the city. John is no longer here. Because we talked about, for instance, about our lift station we put in order to hook up to the sewer system, and we even mentioned, well, maybe the city's going to take that over after you guys put it in. That was just discussing that. Anyway, after we hired a local engineer to develop the property, and because we like to hire local people because we feel we need to support the community. At that time, I went to one of the meetings and I met with Rick several times. There was a pressure on the water supply. I'm sure most of you guys remember that. Last year said, hey, we need to make sure we get the water supply numbers in because otherwise we're not going to get we're not allowed to have any more water. Because if not, was doing something against the city because you guys have your own water supply and you otherwise have to buy in millions of dollars for that. So what happened was our first engineer we hired and all that information, he unfortunately wasn't working the way I would like the resort to go. So I hired a new engineer, John Hammond, and he was more up to speed what my vision was, me and my vision of what the park was, and he came into the end of late last year. Meanwhile, Rick said, really, you got to get your numbers in so we can make sure we have enough water supply. So we rushing to get our numbers in so we'll be, for the water, for the sewer impact, things like that. We forgot about the letter of Ron had given to me that would be a 1 to 8 ratio because motorhomes do not have the same amount of water and sewer capacity as regular homes. It's a smaller unit, people are not there all the time. The numbers show that the occupancy is a lot less than your regular house where people live in. People come and go as they please. One of the emails, so at that point, it was towards the end of the year, holidays, we're rushing to get the numbers in. John puts numbers together, our current engineer, and he put a 1 to 2 ratio in there. Just to make sure that he got our water supply. Because without water supply, it meant I had to build my own water station. At the end of the year, I talked to, there was John Blossman. He was, I assume he still is, he's your finance director, I guess. They said, hey, I think there's something wrong, but I won't pay the bill, so I know we get enough water for the resort. So yes, do I get a refund in case it's not the correct calculation? I talked to him in person about it, so yes, send the check to here, this is my instructions, and yes, if things are not right, you can get your refund. So, now, we get those all together, we get at the last moment in to make sure that water supplies for the resort. Then in January, we go back to normal again, and we start working things. We realized that we have the letter, that we forgot to show the letter from Rob, and John realized he made a mistake by doing the calculation 1-to-2 ratio.
John, your engineer.
John, our engineer.
Okay.
And John, the engineer, was like, really, I will redo it, send a letter to the city that I made a mistake. Those are the official norms from Green Bodies, RB, it's called, Green Body, RB Industry Association. And they will support how the numbers are put together. I also sent him a copy of the letters from Ron Borchers, of what was promised us when we met with him. And there was also a copy from Rick Johnson, the ex-city manager. So we didn't hear anything from anyone for a while. So I sent out a stronger letter, say, guys, we need to figure this out. I copied Yanni on it, and I copied your city lawyer, Drew, on it.
And that's in the packet, I'm assuming?
So I copied all that, I said, guys, this is what was promised to me, those are the numbers, this is not a makeup story, we have two people who used to work for the city, they know the numbers, they promised it to us, and we have also a backup that we have the official numbers from the RBO Association. So Drew starts sending us, some strong letters back, hey, you cannot go back on this, and this is the law. Of course, my legal team said, really, this is an easy case to win. We got two people who we can bring over, we got letters, and it should be not a problem. Then I realized, like, if the lawyers, this is gonna happen, right? My legal team will work, the only good thing that's gonna work, it's gonna cost a ton of money, and the judge will decide. That's not the way I like to work. I think if we are all together in here and meet with each other and say, hey, this is what it's all about, let's talk about it. Put yourself in my shoes. All the things what Ron had given to me regarding the zoning, regarding hook up to sewer system, all those things were done. The only thing that didn't get done was the 1-to-8 ratio for income fees. That's why I'm here. I got Ron, Borges is here, he can verify for the letter, he can send over and say, yes, I spoke to Rick about it, that's how they go. I got John here, my engineer, he can verify it also. And I just need to talk to you guys and say, hey, we made a mistake, and let's move on.
What did you ask?
I'm just asking to honor the letter of close here. The 1-to-8 ratio.
Well, my question is, why is it even coming to the commission? That ought to be handled internally.
It's based because of the amount of the refund.
I don't feel comfortable
that shouldn't affect
making the decision myself because my understanding, this was brought to the previous city manager. If that previous city manager had made these comments, he should have honored it because he was still in place at that time. I didn't have these discussions with him or anybody else from his team, so I felt it was important to bring commission into this discussion because of what was being
So if
said.
it's wrong, it needs to be rectified. If it's right, it needs to stand. I mean, that's the bottom line.
So, one of the, and this kind of, your law firm grew, he pointed out when we signed the agreement at the last day of 2025, this is to make sure we have the water, he goes like, well, Ron was no longer there. Ron retired a week ago before. But he didn't say, well, maybe Rick was still there, but Rick didn't retire till February. Yeah, so I pointed it out to him and he was like, okay.
I'll say on the record in my conversations with Rick, he approved the numbers that were provided to us by John Bannon. I don't have any other things to say about that. I never.
Your engineer.
Yeah, John Bannon is my engineer.
We were never aware of the letter until it was brought to our attention in late January. I didn't know that it existed.
Yeah, well, Ron can verify that the letter was given to us and him and Rick had put that all together.
I am gonna say this, at CRA meetings in the past, things were promised by former leadership in the past. And I'm not saying that to fight you. You said earlier, we need to work through this and move forward.
Correct.
So things that were promised, we need to work through this process and do things above board?
And it's 80,000 to ask.
I believe it's 87,737.59.
And we have supporting documentation, John Marshman, of the previous conversations and the promises that were made.
Property regulation. I mean, I get what you guys saying.
And you were rushed with the water because of the
Well,
water coming
Yeah,
out.
2025.
You remember when Rick was telling everybody that, the city was gonna get charged so many millions and we gotta get the numbers in and otherwise they won't have any water. So, and together with our switching of the engineer, it just came together like that, so.
Your letter's deficient, sir.
2023.
You're not including the address at the top that was addressed to Ski Paradise, not addressed to Legacy Lakes RV Resort. That's
Yeah.
something that was mentioned extensively in the correspondence.
So that is correct. We pointed that out also. The owners of Ski Paradise were the one who put this together when we bought the property. Then we took that project over, and that's why all the letters were addressed on that. In hindsight, should have maybe said, hey, change all the letters up to the next resort. We had a good relationship with Ron and Rick. They came through all the other points, so I never changed it. I never even thought about it, so we were just excited to build the resort. Besides the point that our current engineer also has the numbers from Riva, which support the same number, so it doesn't really happen.
Yeah.
What does this show? I mean, this shows like $100,000. But is that what you think it should be, or is that what?
Yeah, all those travels.
But you paid more than that? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I paid more on, just to make sure that I got the allowed amount of water. I didn't want to, start working the numbers at that time and go like, hey.
So Ski Paradise was dissolved on 9/30/2024, if I'm reading Sunbiz correct.
Yeah, we bought the property on 4/24/24, so I'm not sure when it was all right around that time.
4/24/24.
It's easy to remember, 04/24/24. That's actually, we picked the closing date, especially that. Yeah, Mr. Ron is here also, and he can verify the communication, with the ex-city manager, and he can verify the letter.
So Swiftfoot was another guy that got down to 80, is that correct?
This month, just to give you the latest on that project, we are super close. We just got a note back from Swiftfoot yesterday, about 10 little comments. John just mentioned to me it would be very easy to submit by the end of the week, resubmit, and once we get Swiftfoot, that's the only person we're waiting on, we are ready to go. Property is ready to go. We've got all the materials there, the piping, the building, and we just need to get the green light to get started. I got people lined up, ready to go. We've been working hard on this for a long time. Swiftfoot, as we all know, is not always the easiest to work with. I mean, a clear example which really blew me off, the lady was taking care of my property, went to Japan for 3 weeks. I asked, hey, have somebody else look at it? She said, no, this is the person, and then she got 30 days to answer that, so we almost another 2 months just because of nobody else could answer it. All right, she got your question, it was just a little sad how it worked, but I'm learning.
So to your point, Swiftmud, you made the comment earlier, and we all know Swiftmud is big government.
Yep. Doesn't matter, I'm a little guy.
Yeah.
I think try hard. I let him know what I think about it. It's not right how to treat me. That's, and same as you guys. And Rick was very good at that. When Mr. Water Supply, he brought him also. The old city manager, he knew what he was doing.
Mayor, if I could-
Yeah, this government's the government closest to the people, local government.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mayor, if I can, just real quick, I think this ultimately boils down to a business decision for you guys. Janie's already mentioned that she's uncomfortable with the amount because it's so large. But at the end of the day, it really is a policy call that needs to be made by the administration, whether this is something you want to negotiate with and reduce the amount of the impact fees that are paid, or whether you want to stand by the agreement. From a legal perspective, we're fine either way. We'll just need to make a call, one way or the other. And it's not something, again, that Janie feels comfortable doing, so I think that's why it's here.
But my question is, was it right or wrong at this, I mean, the 1-to-8 ratio with, is there still 112 spots out there?
No, because 6 months coming down to 82, 81, I think.
So 1-to-8 is about 10 spots, 10
Right.
things. And what does 10 things normally cost?
Yeah, it's like,
It's a lot of the letters I sent over.
That's where it needs
Back
to
in
be.
December. Here, communication came out. I don't know why it wasn't amended at that time, to be honest. So where do we stand? Do we need to get exact figures, is that the idea?
No, we got the numbers.
Verify or that's one?
You really just need to decide in my eyes, to honor what this council.
Right.
Just put yourself in my shoes. Well, how do you feel? It was a mistake, right? And it was rectified. I mean, I made a mistake, that's what I did. You put it in, it's okay,
The person that'd be digging a drum out there someplace to get information.
Yeah, I'm not a, I'm not a big construction company, right? I'm just like, we come out of pop, we're trying to have fun, we're trying to, we really fell in love with the area, we fell in love with the property. We think I can bring something really good to know there, get more on the map. It's amazing how many people are interested in staying here, especially with water and everything else we're doing. It's only a good thing about the building, I think. I don't see anything negative.
Do you have any documentation where Rick approved this? Where Rick
Yeah,
said to
yeah,
you?
no,
Where Rick said to you, to your company, I'll honor this. Do you have anything in writing?
No,
It was
Rick-
just verbal conversation between you and Rick.
But did you show up when Mr. Johnson was
I've
here?
met Rick
You were
several
not
times.
here.
No, but the ask was done when Rick was here. So my only concern was, if him and Rick had conversations and Rick said, I'll honor it, why did Rick not honor it when he submitted this information when Rick was still here? The last thing I want is a lot of other people to come and say, the previous city manager promised this, and we don't know if it's not documented.
And that's kind of what I alluded to at the CRA meeting today.
So, but it was documented on the level, you see the risk. Ron gave me all that building investments. Rick was part of that. So he says, you see the Rick Johnson about him? So he had it. I mean, did I discuss it? You just want to make sure. One of those conversations I remember, he said, Rick, did you get all the information from Ron? I said, Ron was the planning director. Yes, Rick, I did. And, I got it too from, I met Rick several times. We did several, we discussed things several times. He was excited about making it happen. Ron was excited about making it happen.
Right, my comments are nothing towards you, but the only thing that Drew and myself have from Rick in writing is where Rick approved your engineer's figures. We don't have anything saying, at least I
Yeah,
don't.
he probably forgot about that also. I mean, it was just like I said, at the end of the year, we always trying to get the numbers in there, sure we get water supply. I could not afford to build a water supply plant in my.
Can we hear from Ron back there?
That's not for me. He can probably tell the conversation that
It came for a reason, I think.
Well, I have a very simplistic way of doing this. Ron Borchers, retired, living in Lake. Retired from being your planning and development director. Yes, sir. The way I hear all the conversation. Yes, I did a calculation with Gus Spring, the original owner. He he has 2 RV campgrounds over on the East Coast, so I took his numbers, figured out that they were using 8 spots to 1 ERC, so we applied that here, that's why I wrote the letter to him. When this gentleman bought it from Gus, he got all of the information with it. I gave him all that information. Okay, now we come to a new engineer that calculated very quickly, so that agreement in my mind, which I have a simple mind, was based on bad data. The new calculations doubled up with mine, so it got 2 to 1, it's very simple. Go back to the 8 to 1. Is that okay? Well, that's my assessment of it. I mean, you got 2 people saying that it's 8 to 1, basically.
I'm not disagreeing with the ratio. My only concern is I don't have, this is why I brought it to the board.
Okay.
I wasn't comfortable making the decision because previous manager could have made the call because he was still here during that time.
And I
That's why I
understand
brought
what
it
Drew is saying, that you have, you know, that agreement is there, but if it was based on that, that's a decision for this board, it's not a legal decision,
It's not.
a
Correct.
decision for the board.
It's a policy call,
A
Ron.
policy.
Yeah,
That's what I was looking for.
exactly, because if ultimately the city wants to amend the agreement to reduce that and settle up and make it fair up, that's fine. That happens.
Yeah.
You know, that's not a big deal at all. All of the advice we've received so far, and I'm talking about my office now, has been, no, we don't want to do that, which is probably why you got communications from me that seems strong, because the manager said, don't do that. This commission addressed it in April and told us we don't want to do that. You know, so now it's here for the discussion time. Yeah, and it's important to get all the facts out, because that's the way it has to be.
And I'm not, all I'm saying is that in my mind, it's very simple. You have to say one thing, the agreement was based on bad data, and then it's up to a policy board to make the decision.
That's pretty much what I've been saying
Okay.
in the last few minutes too.
Well, it's good to be back. I've challenged some things, but that's my opinion from just the.
Thank you.
You guys have any questions on before John Bannon or current engineer?
Yeah, John Bannon, for engineering, I live in Florida. No, happy to answer any questions. Like Ron said, we got hired on in late 2025, and really our first task for Rudy, I mean, we had a couple weeks. Our first task for Rudy was to get these numbers into the city, to come up with a water and sewer allotment. I didn't know the existence of that 8 to 1 letter at that point, so we rushed it in. It was about, I think our estimate was double than of what the letter had. So again, and we had that in. That was what was used at that point, and then Rudy obviously got me a copy of that letter that had the 8 to 1 agreement, or had the 8 to 1 ratio on there. So yep, that I will say that was on 100% there. And again, that's so that was sort of our role in that point, and sort of when we got brought on. So again, I'm just happy when that happened. Answer any questions about the numbers that I can. Like Rudy said, we are close to breaking ground out there. I'm really excited to make this project happen for Rudy and to bring this to the city of Mulberry. It's going to be a great project. I mean, I've worked in Polk County, I've worked in Mulberry. You know, I've been in this area for 20 years. You know, I see projects like this. It's a great piece of property for this use. You know, it can't be used for much else probably because of its prior uses and things. So I'm excited about the project. We're happy to be part of it. I appreciate y'all taking the time and hearing us out on it too. I mean, that's important. And I totally understand your guys' opinions. I thank you guys for the professionalism in all the communications. And I appreciate you guys bringing it to the whole work.
Yeah, Mayor, if I can.
Yes.
Yeah, no, and I just want to add to Mr. Bannon's comments. We have communicated excellently during that last quarter, more so than I've communicated with any other engineer on these topics, so I feel confident had the letter surfaced at the time, we would have been made aware of it. So,
Thank you.
So what is the reimbursement request we're speaking of monetary?
87, I think, but I think they need to go back and calculate it here. Just have the motion or say something to the effect.
Maybe just that the 1-to-8 ratio will be,
Yeah.
and then we can come up with the new, because that agreement has to be revised.
yeah, what's the, so if the commission is inclined to revise the agreement, that's gonna require an amendment. The agreement exists, it's enforced, and satisfaction has been made, payment's been issued, right? So there'll have to be an amendment drafted for it. Happy to do that. Maybe the motion, if you're interested in moving forward in that direction, could be to instruct my office to draft an amendment and circulate it. That might be appropriate for me.
I'll make that motion for the reimbursement with the understanding on the record that we've got new leadership in town now. Janie is our interim city manager until we find a new city manager. I say all that to say this: we need to have things in writing and documentation, not just he said, she said, to what Janie was saying earlier. So I'm comfortable making that 1-to-8 amendment, with the understanding that there is no he said, she said from this point forward.
I'll second that too, with the idea that, morally, that's our obligation. As morally and business wise, that is an obligation we have. And he is our Mulberry.
And we'll become a good business partner.
It's a little simple than that, but you understand.
We got a motion made by Commissioner Devine and seconded by both of them. Make Donald have a say.
I think
Those people down on that side.
Maybe Don got in there just before. Is there any further discussion? Anybody out here want to speak to this? Come on, Daryl.
Daryl Bailey, 1511 Harlan Circle. You guys know that I feel like my calling is to be encouraging. And what I see out of this board tonight is encouraging. You guys have been led with a hard position, cleaning up from previous administrations. Whether right, whether wrong, I don't know. But the point is obviously by Victoria by the Lakes, this, who knows what's coming down the pipe as Interim Manager Jamie says. Now this is going to set the precedent. It sounds like the applicant has admitted negligence as well in not knowing about agreements, letters, transparency, things like that. So there is some onus on them. I'm not saying amend the motion and do half or whatever. But what I am saying is this. If we're going to take the full responsibility for it, then after this is done, in a future meeting, there needs to be discussion on at what point do we start, A, holding the previous administration responsible for their negligence. Number two, what practices are we going to put in place, whether it's ordinance, whether it's policy, to state that, I know it's on the record in the air, but when Jamie steps back down and another city manager steps forward, what are we going to do to prevent this from happening? In policy, in procedure, in the way we operate. Because the city's going to move forward with growth, and I appreciate the growth. I love it. I think that's a great idea. But if we're going to do this, and we're going to grow as a city and redevelop, it's not development, it's redevelopment, which is great. There's going to be high-end clients that come in here that know what you're talking about, that their legal team is wrapped up, and they're going to hold the city accountable for every action that they do or don't take. So I appreciate you doing this. It shows integrity by our leadership, by this board, but we need to put practices in place and not say, oops, that happened. I guess we got to take care of it. What are we going to do to keep it from happening again? Thanks, sir.
think the only answer to that actually, as Jamie will probably agree, is documentation, and documentation, and documentation.
Are we ready to vote, guys?
Yes.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed?
Madam Clerk, have the record state
I
what I
would
mentioned.
like to request that the motion be clarified, please, for the minutes.
Okay, I'm making a motion that we do the 1-to-8 ratio with the understanding that former leadership may or may not have made promises. That's a big, long motion.
But is that part of the motion?
Not really.
No,
The
well,
action part of the motion is to instruct me to draft an amendment at a 1-to-8 ratio.
Correct.
I want the record to
But
reflect that as well.
I can read your comments.
Okay.
I just
She
need a
doesn't need all of
motion
it.
for. Thank you.
She'll add that up.
I will present that.
Yeah, and
Synopsis.
to that point, guys, what I'll do is I'll draft the document, I'll circulate it around the parties to make sure that that's comfortable. That'll probably be brought back before you as a formal action item for business. I anticipate it won't have this much conversation.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Two more little things I want to bring up, Toby. I actually contacted Neil a couple of weeks ago. When I'm at the property, there's this train going by. As a matter of fact, we just heard it, but it's like super loud by us. And there's one street across, it goes to Moody, which closes 5, and that's it. And I contacted the Mosaic first, they came over and met with them, because it's really their train. They go, no, it's not our train, well, sorry, they use the train, but CSX is their, owns the railroad. So we can apply for a quiet zone, because, you know, when it's 3 o'clock at night, and anything goes loud, you kind of jump out of bed. So, but in order to do that, I need the city and the whole county to make it happen. I cannot pull up the exact, it's actually, we need to make this quiet, so it's gonna take time. I'm not sure if you did anything about it, I had the discussion, but I just want to let everybody know what we're trying to work on, because hopefully I have customers next year, and I won't lose my customers because they're blown out of bed by a train horn. Especially Moody closed at 5. There is about 9, then I read up about it, I started working a bit. The thing he needs probably his arms to come down. Right now there's just the X there and the lights. And I'm going to pay for that, just to make sure, get the plastic made.
And you're willing to pay for that?
Oh, yeah, this is will only help. So, I know my property right now is bare naked. Once we get the trees grown, we'll have a nice 8-foot wall in front. There's an angle there, the building will be there. There will be some of the sound away, but it still is pretty loud. So,
I'll tell you this, from what I remember when Lakeland went to quiet zones, they had to put arms on both sides of the crossing, not just one side, and it cost all the lanes. And it's kind of pricey too.
well, I was only talking about light intersection.
I understand that, but even for one intersection, it's not cheap. So, but anyway, just throwing that out there for you.
I think you guys are helping.
Okay.
Full county to do that.
Yes, sir. Thank
It's
you.
gonna take time, it takes time. And like the last question I kind of want to bring up, I'm not sure how you guys want to handle this. Our neighbor, Martin, is a trucking company. I'm sure you guys know that. They do a lot of sulfur, it's the yellow stuff for the Mosaic. I talked to them, I contacted their headquarters in Texas. There's a couple of things, but they're not doing correctly in my eyes. They beep the horn when the truck needs to go to the gate, it's really loud. It doesn't matter, 1 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's something, but it is crazy. The second thing is the lights, there's a lot of what I call light pollution, the lights are coming over to our side. What I'm most concerned about is the property has a lot of yellow stuff, it's sulfur, when they clean the trucks and it's like dust is there, there's all this yellow stuff, what seems to be just sitting there. When it gets windy, the yellow stuff blows over to our side, and you don't want to close your windows therefore. Something I think we need to address. Not sure how to do that. If you guys want to be involved in that, I can be good neighbors. I can talk to them several times and send them emails. They don't really care.
I think that's more of a civil concern there.
I remember years back, we had a conversation about Northwest 10th Drive getting flooded by the Bridgeport Lakes, well, not Bridgeport Lakes, the Victoria by the Lakes. And I talked to Rick then, and he said, yeah, it's sittable, so you've got to handle it, you're going to have to understand.
Yeah, so one of the things what I was told by John, the utility director, my understanding is they have sewer to the facility, but he told them they were not allowed to use it anymore because the yellow stuff was getting into your sewer system, Mulberry sewer system, and it was eating away some of the bacteria, so they're back on the septic system. So John kind of, that's what he told me when I talked about septic, about my lift station, so.
Thank you.
Okay, just want you guys to be aware of it. I'll keep you back on the door and keep working on it.
Thank you.
Who is this next one? Okay.
For the record, Marissa Barbie with the Central Florida Regional Planning Council. Today, I am here to present the evaluation and appraisal affidavit and letter that goes with it. So my PowerPoint's in this?
Yes, it's next.
So the state well, first there's key documents that regulate the growth and management of what happens in the city. You have your comprehensive plan, and the comprehensive plan is the large umbrella document, and then the land development code works with it, and they have to be in harmony together, and they tell you what can happen within your city. So the evaluation and appraisal report is supposed to be your review of your comprehensive plan. Your comprehensive plan provides the vision for the future and the steps on how you will make that vision a reality. It is your basis for your land development code and the land development code regulations. It identifies your community resources, water, wastewater, schools, parks, transportation, and it also looks at what are your long-range community needs. These are the elements that are currently in your comprehensive plan today. Again, they talk about, what is our city and how do we want to see it grow. So we have our future land use and our future land use map, what is our transportation system, our policies related to that. You can see all the different items that are on there. So the state requires every jurisdiction to complete an evaluation and appraisal of their comprehensive plan every 7 years and identify if there are amendments needed to your plan to bring it current. You're supposed to be looking at our major issues that are specific to concerns for your current future growth of your city, progress towards the goals, objectives, and policies in your plan today. So for example, a lot of times we have jurisdictions that say, by the year 2016, we will have, completed a traffic analysis of the city. Well, did you do that? Is that something we need to keep? Is it, ongoing? How do we bring that current? Because that time period would have passed. It's also an opportunity to look at community concerns and desires at the comprehensive plan level. This is also looking at any changes that you might need for changing conditions and trends, ensuring we're having effective intergovernmental coordination, and looking at opportunities and challenges related to the current and future growth and development of the city. So the state has a required timeline on when these are supposed to happen, and the city was supposed to submit theirs in for their second round year was due April 1st, 2026. What the state's current policy is that there's a notification letter that the city, that gets sent for the city saying, yes, we recognize our timeline is expiring, and we have amendments that need to happen. And then there's an affidavit that gets signed by the mayor, and that affidavit speaks to all of this in a second. So here's your notification letter. The letter says that our comprehensive plan has amendments that are needed, and that we will complete the year-based, or the city will complete the year-based amendments within 1 year. When the state receives this letter, they issue a letter back to you that says you have 1 year from the date they received it to complete the transmittal of your evaluation appraisal report amendments. So this is the affidavit. As I mentioned, it is signed by the mayor. It states in these other requirements out of Florida statutes, it says that we'll work to update the comp plan to address all state requirements that were adopted since the last update. We will extend the horizon of your plan. It's currently a 2030 plan. You're supposed to have a 10-year and a 20-year planning horizon, so that would take it out to 2046 or 2050, depending on how you wanted to do that. You also have to update all your population projections and cite the source and date of those projections. Oh, so basically what this does is this notifies the state that you do have to make, that you have changes that need to be made. And then the state sets the timeline from a year from when they get that letter for you to complete those amendments. We are in a period related right now with Senate Bill 180. So looking at your comprehensive plan update as you move forward would most likely be administrative level, being that you would move your timeline out. You would address the requirements that the state has adopted that are not being more burdensome, we put those in. And then update timeline requirements, like for example, if you have that thing where it says by 2016 we will do what we did 2016 will get amended. So that would be what your round would be to bring you into compliance with state requirements. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
No, I'm happy. We're getting it done finally.
I'll remember signing.
This is new.
Yeah, it's the affidavit process is primarily their mayor, in case you say, we don't need anything.
Okay.
So that way the Commerce can say, oh, they don't need anything, look, we have evidence. But what this affidavit says is, we do need things, and that, we expect everything to be in compliance. At the end of the day, as Marissa said, the biggest thing is bringing you guys into the proper planning horizon. Because your planning horizon right now stretches to 4 more years.
Yes.
It's less than half of what the required 10-year is, and you need to go out further on the 20s. So we're looking right now at your 2050 plan that we're working on.
Yes, and right now that letter you have from the state that was included to miss April 1st deadline, so you
Yes.
cannot do any city-initiated amendments. This addresses this and lets you move forward with that process. So if you vote to sign this tonight, the Regional Planning Council will transmit it to the state on the city's behalf.
Yeah, the vote tonight would be to authorize you to sign it, Mayor, and to authorize CFRPC to initiate the appraisal or evaluation appraisal.
Yes, we will transmit that up to the state.
I do wanna know one thing, and maybe you can speak to this. Considering you've only been intern, not even 2 months, when this was due, why was it overlooked?
I didn't obtain the document saying that it was due. It didn't come to me. From my understanding, it went to Bonnie and Drew, but prior to that, it went to Rick's email. So I was aware of this until Drew became aware of it, and I became aware of it.
So you didn't drop the ball?
We found out about it after it was already due. Yeah, there's really no ball here. I mean, you're in transition with your planning department. Ron retired after a glorious career, and CFRPC picked up to step up where he left off. And so there's no ball to be said. What we're doing here is mainly administrative. It requires you guys to take a vote, but this establishes the 1-year period. Now Commerce has an indication when they say, okay, Mulberry, you're gonna get your evaluation and appraisal amendments to us before August something in 27. And that way they can fairly administer the statutes they're charged with administering. So I don't think there's any issues with this. It's something you should absolutely approve.
Oh, I'm not arguing that, you know? I'm just kind of, okay, wondering why, you know, fell through the cracks.
I will tell you, there are a lot of jurisdictions where they fall through the cracks on this. This is not an uncommon thing, but for your information, April 1st, every 7 years, you can put it on your calendar, it doesn't change. So 2033, but it can be, so you would know it needs, whatever form that would be, because 7 years ago, it was not an affidavit, it was a completely different, it was just a letter, and then before that, it was a completely different process, so that process changes.
And I'll cut to the chase, let's make the motion to get it signed and send it.
Second?
Second, McDonald.
Are you chomping it up today?
Motion
We're gonna approve this, go ahead with this, and, seconded by Mr. McDonald. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, the motion would be to authorize the purpose to move forward for you to sign the affidavit.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? It's carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Please, thank you, Chelsea. First, come on down, young man. Here.
Yes, sir. How are y'all doing tonight?
Tonight. Good.
Yeah, get some stuff pulled up real quick. Now, I do want to start by saying this is no attack on any.
Name and address for the record, please.
Garrett Milam, 233 St. Thomas Drive, it's over in the Bridgeport Lakes community. This is no attack personally with anybody, and this is more of an umbrella thing for stuff that is coming down the pipeline. Clearly, as everybody knows, the new project that's going on down south. So this kind of is just covering a lot of stuff that I've heard just about people speaking upon. So I've got this put together, and then we can kind of move forward from there. Good evening, my name is Garrett. I've lived in Mulberry on and off since the early 2000s when Hurricane Charlie, Francis, and Ivan came through. I remember when this city felt like a small town instead of another place that people drive through on their way somewhere else. I'm here today just as not just as a homeowner, but as a husband, father, and someone who truly cares about this community. First, I want to make one thing very clear. I'm not against responsible growth. I understand that Mulberry is growing and growth is inevitable. What I am against is growth that outpaces our infrastructure. I don't want Mulberry to become another city that's constantly trying to fix problems after the homes have already been built. Over the last several weeks, I've spent countless hours reviewing planning documents, plots, property records, and development proposals around Mulberry. What I found has led me to one simple question. Are we improving development faster than we're building the infrastructure that's needed to support it? If you live in Mulberry for any length of time, you know exactly what happens every weekday around 5 o'clock at the intersection of State Road 37 and Highway 60. Like many of you, I've experienced that intersection during rush hour. We all know what that looks like. Now imagine adding a more large residential and commercial developments south of Mulberry. Every neighborhood that's approved has more vehicles to roads that many of us already struggle to use daily. The question is whether we're going to address this problem before thousands of additional daily trips are added instead of years afterwards. For me, this is personal in another way. I'm the father of a little girl with special needs. Because of her condition, emergency services, road access, and infrastructure aren't abstract concepts to my family. They're part of our everyday lives. When seconds matter, traffic matters, planning matters. My biggest concern, though, is our children. Many Mulberry families have children who are expected to walk because they live within the Florida's transportation distance requirements. So the question isn't simply whether a child can walk. The question is, what kind of roads are we expecting them to walk beside? I've spoken with residents who say the students are cutting through wooded areas rather than taking a much longer road route. Whether that's happening every day or not isn't the point. The fact that parents are even discussing it should concern us all. If your own child had to make that trip every morning and every afternoon, would you honestly be comfortable approving more traffic before approving the infrastructure? This isn't a political question, it's a parental one. Over the last several weeks, I didn't just review property records and plots, I've also reviewed Polk County's planning documents related to future development around Mulberry. What stood out to me wasn't just my opinion. It was that many of the same concerns residents have been talking about are already being identified by the county's own planning staff. According to those planning documents, additional water infrastructure is needed before full build-out can occur. Surrounding roads are expected to experience significant traffic impacts, and Mulberry Middle School is already operating above its planned student capacity. These aren't just concerns being raised by residents, they're concerns already identified by government planning staff. My concern is whether our infrastructure is keeping pace with the growth that's already planned. I also spoke with the Highlands Community Management regarding Bridgeport Lakes, and I was told that future phases are currently on hold because of the water availability, and that there is no timeline for construction. Whether that's a temporary or long-term, it raises an important question. If existing approved developments are already experiencing infrastructure challenges, why would we continue moving forward with additional large-scale growth before these challenges are addressed? The citizens of Mulberry deserve answers, not after the homes are built, but before. Before additional growth continues, I believe residents deserve answers to a few simple questions. Do we have enough water? Do we have enough road capacity? Can our schools handle the additional students? And can emergency services continue responding when seconds matter?
Are we investing in infrastructure growth instead of years after it? We've all seen what happens when growth outpaces infrastructure in neighboring communities, and I don't want Mulberry to repeat those mistakes. Tonight, I'm asking this commission to be a voice for the residents of Mulberry, to insist that infrastructure keeps pace with growth before an additional large-scale development moves forward. Commissioners, every decision you make today becomes the Mulberry our children inherit tomorrow. You have the opportunity to get this right before the concrete is poured, before the roads are overwhelmed, before the infrastructure falls behind. Once it's built, there's no undo button. Growth isn't the enemy, poor planning is. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
The biggest thing that I really want to address, because it is one of, I do live in Bridgeport Lakes. It was brought up in a discussion the other day on a Facebook post. Our kids in Bridgeport Lakes communities are obviously within a 2-mile state required walking distance. I own a lawn care business, and I have a personal relationship with a lot of my customers. One of my customers stated that the high school kids are now walking through the back of our neighborhood, through the woods and swamps to get to school instead of having to walk through all the way to the front. The post that I'm referencing was put up stating that under certain statutes or law or whatever, that the students are supposed to go down Aruba Avenue, cut through an emergency access entrance onto Virginia, and then down through the back roads, instead of following the 37 that we all know the video that was posted a few weeks ago spoke about. I would like to address immediately that those kids don't have access to Virginia Avenue. I have pictures that I took just this afternoon. The gate's not open. They can't access through that. There's a 6-inch span between the fences and nobody can get through there. For the safety of the kids, we need to address that with Mr. Mims, who still owns the property and refuses to give it up. That needs to be open for the safety of the kids. I 100% am very much for that. There's no reason why a child should be walking down 37 with as busy as it is in the morning, especially elementary school age children. I would like to see if we can move forward with getting that addressed immediately. And then, I do have a few other statements, but I would like to hear y'all's opinion on that first. Yes, ma'am.
Bridgeport is a HOA.
Yes.
Okay.
You said it.
Yes, that is the issue. Mr. Mims and Highlands Community Management, because actually I have our Q&A from our annual meeting, we have phases 1 through 3 completed, 100% occupancy. They refuse to turn that over to us. They state that there are no current plans for phase 4 construction, and the developer has no time frames and limitations for development. So we can't make that decision.
Can we get a copy of that?
So, it's also not water that's keeping them from doing that, okay? There's water available, they already have water.
So,
Go ahead.
I do want to say this for the record. What you just stated, Mr. Mims said that there is no time frame for future development. Did you say that?
Can we get a copy of that?
Yeah, copy this,
Yeah.
probably most of I have.
Is that what was quoted by Mr. Mims?
According to that Q&A that they gave us, yes.
Okay.
Also,
I'm working on that on the back end of my issue.
that gate up there, to me, Virginia, they could just put a walk gate in there.
Yes.
And
That's
because,
that's the emergency
Sorry.
fire access.
I know
About
for
the-
vehicles,
about the
yes, but they
construction,
could also
that's
put a
an
walk
emergency
gate up there.
Right, and I know that's an
Okay.
kind of an umbrella statement that I brought here, just because, again, this intersection is horrible. I used to work down south building homes. I got out of it because of the shady business that was going on. Too many things getting approved without county density approving them.
But I'll also tell you that, you referenced that Mims Crossing area down here.
Yes,
The city, we have no control over that.
And that's understandable.
This city has no control over that.
Right.
I will say this, Garrett. You're doing what one person is not doing. You are coming to the governing body. Ideally, it would have worked better one-on-one, but no big deal, you know? You are building that relationship. We, as a city commission, and I'll allude to my comments later, you know, are willing to listen to our residents. And when that video went viral that I can't see because I'm blocked, I made a couple of phone calls to Commissioner Becky Troutman, Commissioner Rick Wilson. about possibly putting a walk-through gate there. So they are aware. I can't speak for everybody, I can speak for myself. I'm building relationships with those in other elected capacities in the state of Florida, the county, and the school board. So if you can't get to them, we're here, you know? And we advocate for our residents.
Again, I'm a new resident back in Mulberry. Like I said, I've lived here, multiple times throughout the past. I've also lived in Mulberry, I've lived in Auberdale. So just moving back and becoming an actual city resident again, when I see stuff like that, especially having a child of my own, whether or not she's school age, whether or not she will be able to go to school because of her condition, I still, children hold a special place for me. So seeing that video, speaking with one of the ladies in the community that has a major concern about it, it was just concerning to know that, like I said, especially middle or elementary school age kids walking down 37 is just not a good thing. If we could get that walkway entrance, and that's actually what I spoke with my wife about, even if we could get a walkway entrance through there, that would be great. I hate to see kids walking through the woods, walking through swamps. The time that we live in is crazy. People are weird. And as y'all stated, Mims Crossing has nothing to do with Mulberry. I'm bringing that to the attention just because, again, the intersections, people don't pay attention. People are always in such a rush on their phones. I just want to make sure that it is, brought on record that we can get ahead of that before. I know Mr. Mims and how he works because I live in his neighborhood. It's all about the money for him. He's going to push it. It's going to happen. It just sucks because I know that there are going to be so many people going from that community to Bartow, to Lakeland, Plain City, and Tampa, and it's going to cause more congestion at our intersections that already are congested.
So there is no date on this. When did this meeting actually happen, please?
January.
January what?
I don't remember the exact date. I think it was maybe the 22nd.
Was this a board meeting, HRA meeting?
Yes.
2026?
Yes, ma'am.
I
Yeah.
will tell you one thing that's wrong, phase one is on city water too.
Yeah, I question that because when we had the outage, we were on that notice, which I do have to question about that, and I'll get to that in a minute, because I'm just looking for clarity on it, but yeah, I'm not a fan of Mr. Mims at all. I 100% think that with where we stand, he's clearly stating that there's no development plans. We should be able to be in charge of our HOA. He refuses to give it up. Again, I own my own lawn care company. I propose that I take over the lawn care of the neighborhood. I was shot down because it's a buddy system for him, and he's got his guy in there that does it. So that's another story, and I'm handling that in a different direction, but I did want to bring all this and just get, opinions and put it out there.
I believe tomorrow there's a public hearing about. No?
Yes, that's now in September.
Oh,
Yes.
man, it was happening tomorrow, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
It was. They didn't get the 1,000 notifications out to the residents of the area properly.
And that's where residents' voices can be heard
Right.
at that public hearing.
Right. And again,
Yeah.
I'm not coming to anybody about that development.
I'm not arguing with you, yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement.
Right. That I've already communicated with a few people. One of the ladies was the one that got me the whole county planning commission stuff over to me. That's how I found out Mulberry Middle was over capacity at this point.
Right, and I think you're correct when you're reading the analysis that the total proposed potable water consumption for that development would be 7.5 million gallons per day.
Yes.
They have a permit right now for 361,000 gallons a day. The total wastewater is 5.7 million gallons a day for that proposed development, and there are no plans for wastewater.
And that's,
And that's Mims Crossing.
That's moved
yeah.
off.
But it's all about money, and I strongly feel that he's gonna make that happen regardless.
You can stop.
Yeah, very much. I do have a question. When we had that water outage, because I was told two different things, not only from outside sources, but from the city as well as this waterworks employee. I got a phone call that stated that there was a storm that put that water out, or that knocked the power out that day, for the water. And that's why we were on boil wells. I called a day and a half later, and I was told
router was going out. So we had a new one installed. When the electricity went flickering, because the router wasn't properly installed, it failed to alert our public works and utility director that the levels were correct. When he came to check is when he noticed that the levels had went too low, and that's why he, instead of just doing it to the certain, area that it affected, he wanted to be safe and put it out to everybody.
This is the disinfectant process, right?
Yes.
In which that's understandable. I just wanted clarity on this, because I heard two stories. So I just wanted to go make sure I knew what exactly was happening. But yeah, that's really all I have. I just wanted to address those things and see if we could all as a community come together and make some smarter decisions happen for the children and just for our community in general.
Thanks, sir.
And I'll say this, Garrett,
I'd like to see you at a future meeting too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please come.
speakers get 5 minutes to speak. You are not combative, you know? So that's good, you know?
Yeah, I'll let it go.
Yeah. And the mayor can do that. He chairs it, yeah.
Extra 10 minutes.
That's my problem.
Yeah.
Darryl next.
Not a problem. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Don't leave, the meeting's not over.
Yes, Garrett, please don't leave, because I'm gonna kind of address you too. Darryl Bailey, 1511 Heartland Circle. And the reason I wasn't gonna sign up to speak, but I heard you mention that post, and I actually posted that statute on Facebook because it was correcting information from the agitator's post. And I say that because I don't want to give publicity to that. Right. So immediately when people started engaging the post, because I want people to at least understand why decisions are made, everybody was like, well, no, the video's done. If the video's done, it's going to be solved. Well, no, the video doesn't get anything solved. So I started calling and emailing. So I called MIMSWORK, and I spoke with the secretary who was going to give me a call back. Well, she called me back, I didn't answer, so I called back, and they asked me to transfer me to Mr. Mims' office if he answered. And he told me that it was a city-county HOA issue. Okay? So that opens up a Cadillac Hill, and I don't know if that's Virginia, and I don't know if that's county, city.
Unincorporated
Mulberry. That's what I thought.
Mulberry.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Enclave.
So, long story short, I got a phone call from, well, a text message from Commissioner Becky Troutman asking me to stand down because she was in contact with Stephen Miller at Highland Homes. And she was going to get information over to him as well as some pictures in order for the county to help work to get that established. So Garrett, my goal is, yes, they're going to use that back road to go out, and right now I think it's rocky stepping out, and there's no lights, right? There's no lights.
There's no lights. It's more of a, like I said, it's an emergency entrance, so it's, I can't tell you the material, but it's a rocky.
Like a gravel, yeah. So what the goal would be is the first step is getting that gate unlocked or pedestrian access. First step. After that, then because of the relationships being built with Becky Troutman and some of Rick Wilson and some of those, we can actually work to get some improvements done to that area, street lights, things like that, knowing that now that's going to be the pedestrian pathway to school. But it starts with people taking action like yourself in front of the commission, so I commend you on that. Another concern that came out of that same conversation was middle schoolers crossing the highway to walk to middle school. And one thing that residents weren't aware of because of all the commotion was, and Commissioner Vine, you brought really good attention to that on your social media, was that's a permanent light now. So they've had the whole summer to get used to that being a permanent light.
That was done in March, I believe.
Right, so March, spring break, school ends, people still getting used to it.
And I'll say, I talked to somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody, and that's how that got accomplished.
Okay, so, no discredit.
No.
I'm just trying.
But it's just relationships, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So, with that being said, I immediately reached out to somebody that I've connected with, School Board Commissioner Kate Wallace, who's over District 3, And she asked me to put it in writing, which I did. She sent it over to the Polk County's School Safety Division, who works with the school board safety. So Heather Stafford emails me back, along with Ryan Shave, I think is a captain or lieutenant, and Corey
Captain of
Lanier,
State Schools.
and then Corey Lanier, who's upper brass as well. And basically directed or requested John Kubicki with the DOT to do a traffic study. So now that that's a permanent light now they're gonna do an updated traffic study. And the goal is to look to see if they can actually get more either pedestrian crossing signing, lights like you see going by the hospitals, extend the light, the length of the light, or possibly lower the speed limit. So they're gonna do a complete traffic study sometime soon at that intersection to see if there's something that they could do as far as the school crossing. So those are underway, so, and I only say that to say this, doing what you're doing and what I'm doing, that works.
And I'd also like to add.
So thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. With the new permanent light system and everything being installed, obviously we now have the cameras on the school buses to catch people that blow past them and this, that, and the other.
You need to be here.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the audio system for the Facebook feed, all kinds of things, yep.
So, with that now being a permanent light, obviously the school buses have the cameras that catch people that blow by. Would it be a ridiculous ask to see if we could, for those kids that have to now cross 60, have a sheriff that would be willing to be there in the mornings and the afternoons for those kids?
That's a very good question, to be
Well,
honest.
and I didn't know, as he stated, with relationships, I didn't know if there
I
were
also
relationships.
think it's a money thing, to be honest with you. I don't know that, but I'm just speculating. But I do know when a kid, when anybody, not kid, just anybody punches the walk button, the light is longer.
And I get that.
It's a longer light.
And I don't know if you're familiar with any of the Lakeland Light Runners, Facebook page, I think it is. It's a montage of people that blow through red light. And that would be my biggest concern with those middle school children crossing through 60, is just people not paying attention. Whether there's traffic there or not, an accident, you hit somebody, it pushes that car into the kids, or just blow through it completely.
And I'll be honest with you, our deputies are real good about watching that, when they can.
Right.
I think we've got 2 in the city at any given time, right?
Yeah. So, and of course, there's guards up here for the elementary school at Fifth Street.
I know,
So, but they're real good about watching. And I remember one day I called them, the light wasn't working and school was out. I mean, it was 4 o'clock when school gets out and they send a deputy right down.
all right, well, it was just something I was throwing out
It's
there.
working all the time now, so that helps.
Okay, cool, appreciate it.
Thank you. Brian, come on down.
Sir.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, likewise. My name is Brian Ingles, 1205 Northeast 7th Street, a local resident here in Mulberry. With school starting, I would like to bring up a couple of things, and then obviously I want to bring up our good old hot topic. But with the school starting, the racetrack is about to open. By racetrack, I mean all the high school students that like to leave on Northeast 7th and 12th. And with that, I would love to see the city try to do something with that intersection and with that area. There's no school zone speed limit signs. There's a lack of stop signs. Kids are crossing across all of our neighborhood lawns. It's a rough period of time to live around.
Well, I know Mr. Young tries to get the kids that walk to not come down 7th Street.
Yeah.
He tries to get them to go out.
They cross right across my mother-in-law's yard. The big old thing.
He tries, if he's standing there, he won't let them go that way. And most afternoons, he is standing there.
Okay.
It's afternoons, he does not stand there. I've seen him stop them.
Oh, that's good. If there's ever any way that guys might be able to conjure up some sort of idea to make it go through toward, road go through toward the, where the old Babcock is on that whole area back there, and the fire department and baseball fields. I feel like that would be an amazing solution to pull the racetrack out of, a community where I have to hide my kids. I literally hide my kids
Well,
because.
I really think that intersection at 12th and 7th needs to be a four-way stop.
Yeah, it does, and mind you, those buses,
Yeah.
they're terrible.
Yes, they are.
They are horrible. They come around that corner so fast
Yes, they do.
that they're nearly up on my yard, and I'm on the opposite side of the road.
You're preaching to the
Oh,
choir.
it's rough.
And they should,
So,
I think the buses shouldn't be coming through those snow roads, they should go straight
no,
down.
cause that 90-degree turn at the end of my road, there's somebody where they actually, one time and I got rocks in front of my yard now because of it, but they rode up on my neighbor's rocks, because he did the rock before me, he was smart. But they rode up, they had to get towed away because the bus pushed them off the road. So, it's a problem. Nonetheless, I want to bring that to your attention. Now, in regards to, the topic of commissioner seats, and before I go there, I just want to say, I go for a walk every day in Mulberry. And I think many people do, and many people take for granted all the effort and work that one of you guys put in. So before I say anything, I want to say thank you. First and foremost, you guys put in a lot of effort, and I think it goes unnoticed for the most part. It really does. But you guys put a lot in. So, in regards to the seats, I, as you know, am a proponent for all at-large seats here in Mulberry. This came up in the workshops. Yes, they were under-attended, I feel. However, I got this notice for the next workshop that's coming up, Wednesday and a Saturday, and I don't remember what it is. It came with my water bill. I saw it, I opened it, and I laughed. Yeah.
It's a mandatory thing that the federal government's pushing through their lead and copper pipe rule revisions.
Yeah.
Our process is on top of it. Mulberry actually is one of the best communities that I represent as far as the total number of lead and copper pipe connections.
Well, I saw that notice and I felt a little bit jaded, and a little bit, I laughed a little bit. I don't know if all I can. And the reason is this. I did attend both days, and I spoke, and I feel like I spoke clearly. We got great legal counsel on those days in regards to the potential for all at large. And I feel like I might not have been heard. Now that being said, the last commissioner meeting, Neil, you asked about having the city put something out, and I think that there was even a little bit of legal counsel against the potential of making a video. But a video was made with a city clerk, so therefore that's city on the clock, if you will, right? Making it with.
The legal advice was against the property tax reform, not the CRA redistricting.
It wasn't.
No, it was regarding the, property tax reform that we're not supposed to be using funds for that.
Okay.
Right.
It wasn't for the CRA redistricting.
Right, and principally with that, it's you want to avoid promotion of commissioners don't lose their ability to speak on these types of things, but it's anytime that money is used. There was a law adopted less than 4 years ago that prohibits the expenditure of municipal funds on ballot initiatives.
So, yeah, my concern with that was in the video using city staff and whatnot. The statement was said at 38 seconds, communities and populations change. This is why we need to redistrict. Not this is why we need to act or something of that manner, but this is why we need to redistrict. That, to me, gives a clear indication of intent.
I understand.
And that's my concern.
Mayor,
Go ahead.
Yeah, the redistricting is not a ballot initiative at this point. And so commissioners, city officials, free to express opinions, spend money, although I don't recommend that you do that, but the prohibitions of that statute don't kick in until there's an actual ballot initiative.
Okay. And I mean, and I'll just tell you.
Mind you, I appreciate your education.
No.
I do look at that.
And I mean, and that's why I'm doing these educational posts, to educate the people who do not come to these meetings, to educate those people who may be listening to the agitator.
Yeah.
You know? But people don't attend, so they don't know, you know?
So.
Ryan, I'm gonna say, because I did do that, and I did see where, but I'm with you. You know, if I had to give an opinion, I would love for us to go completely at large. So my intent was not to drive one way or the other, it was a little.
I didn't think
bit
it was.
yeah.
I remember hearing your voice.
Yeah,
at
but,
those
so I
workshops,
just want to
so-
clarify, that was not intended.
No, I hear that.
And I mean, we're gonna do what the people want, you know, and the people were there, you know, not too many people.
Yep. And so I guess I ask at this point, what further information are you seeking in order to potentially put it before the people? What more information do we need? How many more people do we need to come forward?
That's a good question.
Isn't this on the agenda coming up? Like,
It is. I might be on travel for work, so I wanted to bring it up a little bit early. Unfortunately, I might be on travel. I have to go to Wisconsin to set up my rap sheet. So how many more people? Because the people that showed up to the workshop, I feel like that said quite a bit. They took the time out, twice, some of us. And then, not to mention all the benefits of potentially going to Ag, which is the cost savings, the legal liability savings. I feel like it's a good benefit. So, I'll leave it with that.
I mean,
Hopefully I can come on.
And I'll say this, when I'm talking to residents,
Yes, sir.
I ask them, I try to explain as clear as I can, A, B, C. B and C being, you know, going out to the voters. What do you want as a resident? I don't influence what they want, you know?
And I guess that's the.
And that video wasn't intended to influence, and if you notice, I don't ever comment on the posts that I make. Because I don't want to be attached to this thing 24 hours a day, you know? And I'll be alluding on that, commission comments.
I'm the one first.
You want to draw straws?
And I guess just to wrap it up, I said that's way to hear what the people want to say about it, is to put it before the people.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sure Randy is on the list.
No, not tonight.
Dawn wants to go first, come on.
Go, Dawn.
I'm saving y'all, okay. Well,
No, you ain't either.
I appreciate everybody that came out here. This board, we may not agree on a lot of things together, but I know one thing about this board, all these people here, there isn't anything they wouldn't do for anybody in the community. There isn't any concern that they wouldn't listen to, any need that they have. So, there is somebody making videos out there that doesn't bring the correct information, but know that you can always come here, and this entire board will always be here for you, to help you and answer questions. The other thing, what's going
No,
on?
I'm just talking to Randy later, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Legion, I got to spend some time with a group of your ladies. They came to Lighthouse Ministries, which is a very special place to me. I helped open up that preschool for the ladies there that are, in recovery. We opened it up in 2002. I go back monthly and lead a prayer group. But, the Legion came for a tour. They had lunch and they got to, hear about the ministry. So that's all I have to say. I appreciate everybody coming out and really trying to help and support us.
Mr. Barsadi,
I think I'm going last.
Yeah, for everything when you start talking. I'll agree with Don that we will all listen, we all wanna hear. We may not agree, but we wanna hear and we want to base it out on what's right. I'll also, put my 2 cents in on the development without infrastructure. Okay. I've watched too many towns disappear because it was a matter of put a building on every single block of land, but forget that there's traffic and there's water and there's utilities and there's neighbors that get pushed out of the way. And I'll just add to that I grew up in Pontiac, Michigan, which doesn't exist anymore. It's now a Columbus suburb of Detroit. And I lived in Lakeland, which does not exist anymore, not like it used to. It's a joke around here. It takes us, my husband and I, as long to get from here to the north side of Lakeland as it does for us to get to Tampa. And that's wrong. That's a straight shot. And if you notice with the rains that they had last week, there's a lot of areas that flooded that never flooded before. Now, was that because they got full? No, that was because another block of land got put a building on. Another block here has a building on it. There is no spaces anymore. It's like driving down through Clearwater and trying to see the beach from the road. So yeah, we need infrastructure. We will have growth. That's what happens every place. But we don't need massive growth and we don't need infrastructure because our footprint will not sustain it. That said, I wasn't gonna go there tonight, but thank you for coming in and making that heard. Thank you to our interns. I think they all left. They know when to get out, that's good. I'm sure that they're gonna have a great life ahead of them. And let's see, thank you to our city leaders as well. I mean, our directors there. Your work has been very appreciated and it's great to keep pushing forward. It's something that we will hold on to. Ron, thanks for dropping in and getting a piece said. Yeah, sometimes there's mistakes that have to be amended and we have to face up to it and get it done. And just on a personal note, wish my husband a happy birthday. His birthday's tomorrow. No surprise birthdays this year either.
Mr. Smith? I don't have any.
I'll ask for forgiveness later.
You gave him a couple more
Mr.
minutes.
Harrison?
Of course, I want to say happy August.
Yeah.
Goodness, fall's coming up. Maybe the heat will tone down a little bit. I wanted to congratulate the interns. That's always an exciting time in somebody's life. Especially to find out if that's an area they want to go into for June and Mary Lou. I also wanted to share appreciation to Chelsea and Laura, your reports tonight of all your programs and things that you give. And I know it's not just you, but your workers that surround you. We appreciate you. And, and also, Laura mentioned the Friends of the Library. They sponsor Thursday's events. I think that's awesome. I never knew that before. So a big thank you to them. And it was nice to hear from the gentleman from Bridgeport Lakes and also Daryl and also you to give your point of view and talk to us and not yell at us. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, Randy. Hand these out, please, Randy.
Mr.
Yeah.
Ryan,
Have you
go
seen my
ahead.
labor rate?
$3, just like mine. So I'm sure this will be fast forwarded to 2 hours and 6 minutes later on tonight, unless it's being watched live. Mr. Mayor, commissioners, staff, guests in the chamber, please allow me to speak in length today. As elected officials, as elected officials, we are elected by the people of the city of Mulberry, including Bridgeport Lakes and Eddie Woodard Apartments, not including Imperial Lakes, not Pine Lakes, not Willow Oak, not Bradley, but the people of the city of Mulberry. I am no doctor, but I would think if someone was diagnosed, why would they do things to intensify their diagnosis? Those who live within the city limits should know how easy it is to connect with one of the commissioners, as I alluded to earlier. I hope the residents see how involved we are in the community. I also add that the city commissioners have built relationships with other elected officials throughout the state who can help with an issue a resident may bring to our attention if we are unable to due to city, school board, or county, state jurisdictions. Residents and business owners involved know how to advocate, and they do not agitate. We've seen the advocation here today with 3 guys, 3 people speaking. Advocates, Mother Taylor, as some refer to her in the community. The Woodard family, just to name a couple, have built relationships and are very respected. Those who subscribe to noise do not collect correct facts by reaching out to city staff or city commissioners. Thanks for being a friend to me. Questionable life choice, but I appreciate it. Those people are part of a small group, but do not make a lot of statements to prove their specific narrative being an advocate in their mind. I will not be entertaining noise or fake advocacy anymore. If you have a question about what you're clicking on, viewing, liking, sharing, and following, do not hesitate to reach out to City Hall or other city commissioners and myself via text or email. Now, I work, so I can't take phone calls, but I'll respond to a text. I do not push my politics or religious beliefs on people. I'm not a son of a preacher. We are not perfect, but we should do our best. If you call yourself a Christian, we are commanded. Jesus said in John 13:35, "By this, all people will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." Galatians 5:22 and 23. But the fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things that are there where there is no law. 1 John 4:7. Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God. And it says 30 loves, but I guess that's a typographical error. Has been born of God and knows God. Anyone who does not know God, because God is love. I hate reading out loud, but that's all right. If anyone says, I love God and hates his brother, he is a liar. For he who does not love his brother, whom he has been, cannot love God, whom has been seen. And this commandment we have from him. Whoever loves God must also love his brother. 1 Corinthians 1:10. I appeal to you, brothers, by the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that all of you agree, and that there are no divisions among you. My fingers work faster than my mind sometimes. But that you be united in the same mind and the same judgment. Romans 16:17. I appeal to you, brothers, to watch out for those who cause divisions or create obstacles contrary to the doctrine that you have been taught, avoid them. I will end with some wisdom shared to you by several people and a former school board candidate. 2 Timothy 2:23-25. Have nothing to do with foolish, ignorant controversies. You know that breeds quarrels. And that the Lord's servants must not be quarrelsome, be kind to everybody, able to teach patiently, enduring evil, correcting his opponents with gentleness. God may perhaps grant them repentance, leading to knowledge of truth. Proverbs 26:4. Answer not a fool according to his folly, lest you be like himself. So I am no longer engaging in ignorance, stupidity, division. And I'm sure you can hear me tonight. My voice is loud. That's my commission comments for the night.
Yes, indeed.
Do you have one more Bible verse?
What'd you say?
Too boring, you'll have the whole box.
Don't preach me down.
Thank you, Ray.
Wow.
Oh, on the M&Ms. Misinformation and misunderstanding melt away when asked questions, we listen and consider the facts. Mic drop. I'm gonna eat my M&Ms now.
Next.
I don't have a lot, I have some questions, James. What's the progress of this sewer project coming from up north?
The northern bypass. So there, with the northern bypass, there was an issue down on, not in front of the school. Further down, that one of the, one of the drainage systems that they connected was not supporting what it should have supported. In other words, the engineering was done incorrectly on that topic. We have a meeting coming up next week with the engineers to go over the resolution to try to fix that, because at the moment, it's not functioning the way it should function.
And we know when they're gonna finish paving the road there on Northeast First Avenue?
We have to wait until we meet with them to get the corrections
So
done
that's
first
fine.
before.
And then what's the progress of the new concrete place out in the industrial park?
With regards to,
Completion.
I will have to reach out to them and see about that.
And 'cause I rode out there, but it's up on a hill, you
Yeah.
can't see up there. And,
I'll
and
reach
then-
out to them and let you guys know what the status is so far.
And then the depot signs, they're beautiful, I love them, but I thought they were supposed to be lighted.
They are, we have a ticket in with Tico, we have to wait for, Tico to put us on their schedule to come and assist connecting them to the gym here. I know Jason has reached out to, the Tico rep, and we're just waiting for them to get back.
Now, how about the other one?
The other one's supposed to be a solar panel, a solar,
That's what I thought, so I thought it would be on.
I'll have to get with them.
I was just curious. And then, I also, I love all of our employees and all that they do, especially our directors that come to the commission meeting every time. And, but I was also gonna point, and Tim usually comes with his wife. And, he didn't come tonight, but I was gonna pick him out and thank him for changing all the light bulbs down there in that Mulberry Jam's parking lot. Because there was a bunch of them out, and I pointed it out one day to Jason, and the job fell to Tim. So, but he got them all changed so we could see down here, and I noticed them, especially at 6 in the morning, when I eat breakfast, but anyway. Other than that, good job, and I'll turn it over to our city manager.
I do not have any conversation at all.
When did you say that, that meeting was gonna be for, Northeast First?
Northern bypass?
Yeah.
That should be next week. We typically have them on Wednesdays.
Okay.
We meet with the engineers.
City attorney?
Yes, thank you. Appreciate
you guys. I apologize for being absent from the second workshop as well as the last city commission meeting. Glad to be back here, feeling better, upright, and present. That's right, exactly. Good news, I think. Yesterday, the Circuit Court in Tallahassee held the ballot language in the property tax amendment to be unconstitutional, to be incorrect and misleading, etc. So they struck it and enjoined it from being on the November ballot. However, there is a statute dealing with referenda. The Attorney General gets a statutory 10-day period to rewrite the ballot language. So the Circuit Court has reserved jurisdiction to consider the Attorney General's rewrite. Yeah. And we expect that there'll be something filed by the state within that 10-day period. So stay tuned, pay attention. More drama out of Tallahassee to come. Speaking of which, again, I apologize. I started off by saying I'm sorry I missed the last 2 meetings. I have in my hands the legislative summary has been prepared by the former league, and I expect that either at the next meeting or the first meeting in September, I'll bring you all the annual good news out of Tallahassee. So I'll wait for that.
Good news?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Good news, everybody.
Yeah. That's good.
Good news. Changes, yeah. So anyway, Mayor, that's all I have. Thank you so much.
City Clerk?
For those that are going to be going to the Florida League of Cities conference, we do have your books ready and the per diems should be ready next week. And so I will let you guys know when you can come by and pick those up.
I have a question, another question for you.
Yes, sir.
When does early voting start? It already started. It started in Hillsborough, I think, I know. Saturday. Has not started here.
That's no question.
Starts Saturday, so y'all go out and vote. Your conscience. Okay? Mister, anything forward voting?
Thank you for allowing me to preach.
We're adjourned. Thanks for coming.